Chief is now laying out his plan to oust a member of the Federal Reserve's Board of Governors.
When executives start to try and meddle with central bank independence, that comes at real cost.
She and Jay Powell are holding the economy hostage by not cutting rates.
Why the president is now trying to fire Fed Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, and how doing so could have consequences for the average person.
State Republicans now make it clear they are not going down without a fight. So look at the latest effort from the state's GOP to fight the redrawing of congressional maps, plus what other state is now joining the fray.
President Trump is now discussing his uncertainty about nailing down ceasefire talks between Russia and Ukraine. How much time he's now giving President Vladimir Putin to come to the negotiating table.
And some slight changes in temperature this morning. May not be in the triple digits for that much longer. I'll explain more in your forecast coming up.
You're watching Fox 26. And now, great day.
We begin this hour with a live look at the Bay Bridge up in the Oakland, San Francisco, San Jose Bay area. Looking nice and easy at 5 o'clock this morning. Good morning. Thanks a lot for joining us today. I'm Kim Stevens.
I'm Liz Gonzalez.
And I'm Carl Cook. Justin Willis is on assignment. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Crazy to know that's the easy traffic there in the Bay Area.
Yeah, I got to wake up early.
And part of that you couldn't even see this morning because I was listening to the radio, listening to news radio out of the Bay Area, and they were working on the western portion of it from Treasure Island to...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Guarantee we saw that, Cam. It probably wouldn't look any different. It's kind of like New York where it's always busy. It's a city that never sleeps.
Yeah.
This weather also doesn't sleep, but there's a little bit of a relief today. So I'll explain more of that, but we're going to focus on right now and see how your current conditions are faring right now at 5:01. 76 degrees with some cloudy skies, wind varying in each direction there at 3 miles an hour, dew point at 58 degrees. But as far as your day planner, look at that. No triple digits for today so far. 82 degrees around 10 a.m., 89 degrees around noontime, and yeah, we're getting to 97 today with some clear skies, wind speeds around 6 miles an hour, but there still is a chance of rain, not too much, but we still want to keep you informed of that just in case you need to take your umbrella coming up.
For the first time in the Federal Reserve's 111-year history, a president is trying to fire a Federal Reserve governor. But Lisa Cook says she will keep doing her job until the courts decide if her termination is legal. The president accuses Cook of committing mortgage fraud 4 years ago. He said so in a social post and then in a letter to her saying that there is sufficient cause to fire her, but that cause proof has not been presented. Why care about this? A, it is unprecedented. B, it is against congressional law. The Fed was designed to be independent of the White House. And if the president is able to put in his own board member to puppeteer interest rates, the Fed loses its control over inflation. And the White House widens the already open door to broad overreach, going against the Founding Fathers' creation of 3 separate branches of government.
If you have a job, if you have money saved, if you have children, you know, any kind of commitment to this country doing well in the future, this should be of concern.
Investors do seem concerned based on overnight drops in stock futures and the U.S. dollar index. Remember, the stock market is mostly tied to emotion. And if people are concerned, then they start pulling out from investing. Now, the reason why that's a concern is because these companies on the stock market, S&P 500, Dow, NASDAQ, those reflect retirement accounts, and that includes pensions or spending power. And beyond economics, analysts also see impacts from the president's broader campaign to punish perceived enemies.
Meantime, California Republicans now asking the state Supreme Court to stop plans to redistrict congressional seats. This is their second time going before the Supreme Court of the state. Now, California's legislature recently approved the ballot measure Prop 50, which will ask voters if they want the state's districts to be redrawn for midterm elections. Lawyers representing California Republicans say the ballot measure goes directly against the state's constitution.
Our state constitution sets guardrails for a reason: to protect voters and the public from partisan abuse at the hands of politicians.
Governor Gavin Newsom said last week that the state's redistricting is a direct response to Republicans' redistricting efforts in Texas.
They fired the first shot, Texas. We wouldn't be here had Texas not done what they just did. Donald Trump didn't do what he just did.
Again, that measure in Texas at the urging of President Trump. If the California map is approved by voters, it would replace the existing one through 2030.
Utah lawmakers will now need to band together to redraw the state's congressional lines ahead of the 2026 midterms. This move follows a judge's ruling that the Republican-controlled legislature bypassed safeguards put in place by voters to ensure that districts are not drawn to favor any party. The current map, which was adopted in 2021, divides Salt Lake County. That's the state's population center and a Democratic stronghold among the state's 4 congressional districts, all of which have since elected Republicans by wide margins. Now, the judge declared the current map unlawful, stating that lawmakers ignored an independent commission established by voters to prevent partisan gerrymandering. Lawmakers have a deadline of September 24th to finalize maps and allow input from voting rights groups to submit alternate proposals.
Time is now 5:06, and let's get a look at your satellite radar to start things off. You're seeing a string of high pressure starting back here, and it starts to move along next to the Pacific Ocean there. Even that low pressure that moves up here on top that started down here shows how weather can change dramatically, but day by day there. And we're seeing that string of pressure now mainly in the high areas. But also we want to look at your satellite radar, because starting off at 2 p.m. today, we could see some rain in the Sierras, and that could be the same thing throughout the day there. This is at 5 p.m. Not much of a huge difference, just seeing that impact there. Also mainly in Nevada, but also there again in the Sierras. And as we go throughout the day, it starts to die down a little bit. This is about 10 p.m. tonight, and that is about it as far as that rain. It's kind of a rinse and repeat of what we almost saw yesterday. Luckily, not too much rain if you were in other parts of the Central Valley. As far as your humidity today, it's going to be at 52% there. Lowest is going to be at 25%. The average being 52% today. And again, we mentioned the dew point. That's going to be at 58 degrees today. So that could make an impact as far as how the conditions may fare as far as the dry conditions. But not too much, though. It's being a little bit better than it was yesterday. This is how the 3 days are going to look. 98 degrees today, 99 degrees tomorrow, and then 98 on Thursday. So we're getting a break from those triple digits there. And also the overnight lows, 69 on Tuesday, 65 on Wednesday, and then 66. So some pretty good temperatures for the next couple of days, so not too bad to get your week going as we saw this past weekend. Those high triple digits, maybe the AC could crank down just a little bit there, maybe save a couple dollars on your PG&E, but we'll focus on that another day, because we're going to focus on our highs and lows for the rest of the valley for their Tuesday.
Well, if you're driving to the Central Coast this Labor Day weekend, or at least over the next couple of days, you want to listen up. Part of Highway 41 will be closed in San Luis Obispo County from 6 in the morning to 8 at night. Those closures begin today and will last through Thursday. You can still get to Paso or Pismo. You'll still have to take a detour, though. That's going to add about 45 minutes to the drive. Caltrans has been working on widening Highway 41 for a few years now to make that drive quicker and safer.
We've made this incredible transformation of making Highway 46 a 4-lane expressway, which is much more safer than that existing or prior 2-lane highway.
Again, this closure is for the next 3 days, 6 in the morning to 8 at night. Caltrans expects the work to be done by next spring, the entire project, by the way. FEMA workers are now issuing a warning to the Trump administration how they're using the government's failures during Hurricane Katrina to urge the White House to stop making cuts to the agency.
The South Valley Skycam, sponsored by BD&J Injury Lawyers.
And a live look now at Lake Cahuilla. It is 5:09 and 75 degrees right now. Can't see much because the sun has yet to rise, but you can find what you can find, though, are new headlines and weather forecasts on your screen all morning long, even through the commercial break.
Hi, Hi, I'm Monty Torres with Fox 26 News on YouTube. Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel, where we have loads of great content for you to choose from. And while you're here, why not click on the subscribe button right here? That way you can stay in touch with all the latest breaking news, everything news related within the Central Valley. And thank you for watching.